Yeah, hi class. I want to quickly, as quick as possible, go over different ways to make these week 7 composite landscapes, fantasy scapes your own. Because the biggest problem is, if you're going to look for an image for your assignment, you might say, well, this is a great image. I love this. But if you just plop a couple of things here and something here and something here, the success of your image is going to be dependent upon this beautiful photograph. So what you need to do is combine these photographs and also do citations, right? I'm just going to pick some of these and just show you what I might do. I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to go over into Photoshop. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to resize it like this. I'm not going to do any fancy layers, layer masks, anything like that. I'll show you on my layers window here. I'm not doing any smart objects or anything. What I want to do is go and get some landscapes and then montage them together. Now, keep in mind another thing before I forget is I want to make sure I have citations for all of these. So if I go here, I'm going to go. I've got a little cheat sheet over here, and I'm going to put in, landscape 1, mountains 1, right? And I can fix all this up later, but I want to make sure I track my images. Let's see, cancel that, sorry. Let's see, what would go good with that? We got some mountains in the background, some more mountains. Some skies might be kind of good, right? There's some really, again, if you can go out and shoot your own, that would be even better. Let me just, pick this one for now. It's got a nice sky. So we're going to go here. And we're going to try to find that image. Hold on a second. I'm going to pick a different one. And again, I don't know how this is going to come out. Oh, there's a nice. I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to flip over to Photoshop. I'm going to paste that in. I'll resize it in a minute. I want to get one more. And I'm also going to select that link. Flip over to my notes. Call that night sky. Paste that in. All right, let me get one more, and then we'll, as to not belabor this. Let's see, sky, water, desert. What else might be good in there? Let me look. I don't know. Let's do trees. Let's visit that. See if we can't. No thanks. This is going to be pretty challenging. Let's copy this image. Let's go over to Photoshop. Let's paste it in there. And then let's go back over and make sure that we get our link. All right. We just want to do our best to give credit to the people that took the picture because we didn't. Okay. Now, how to put them together. So, for example, on this one, I would probably want to do some more changes in here in the foreground because this is just so it's so powerful, that picture. And I don't want people to see that landscape. I want them to see my composition, of which the landscape is a part, if that makes sense. So I'm going to cut that out, cut it, get rid of that. Now, you'll notice too that I can go back in here. I'm doing just a quick selection just because, otherwise this thing could go on for a really long time, right? But let's say I used all my selection tools and I zoomed in. I used to do this in the old days. I would zoom in and I would painstakingly cut that out. I know there's a lot of selection tools in Photoshop, quick selects for skies and stuff. You guys have been posting them. But for right now, let's just pretend that I'm going in there and selecting this very carefully so I get the cleanest possible selection. All right. Now, so I'm selecting the sky. First thing I'm going to do is do an edit, paste special, paste into, that pastes in my night sky. I resize it. Keep in mind when you're resizing up, things can get blurry. Okay? So, there's my sky. I would probably replace the road up here with something. You know, that road's pretty powerful. But let's throw a tree in there. Let us throw a tree in there. And then we might, I don't know, we might be able to call it a day. Let's see. I am going to cut this guy out. So keeping in mind again, this is a rough, right? I can always go in and clean these up later. I used to do painstaking montages of, I did this one piece, it was these people coming across the desert, cartoon heroes and superheroes and stuff. And, you know, coming off out into the gallery off of the printed page. Now, in this case, I just need to paste. You will notice that there's a different lighting on this. Okay? But what I'm trying to do is get people to look at my composition and not at the landscape. I want to dilute that landscape. Okay. How can I change that tree? One thing I might do is go up to filter, camera raw filter, and see if I can darken it. All right, so now we can maybe take down the exposure, a little bit of contrast maybe, bump the highlights, bring out the shadows, up the whites, the blacks, a little darker. I think I'll take down the texture. I don't want it to be, and the clarity. I don't want it to be too, take over too much. I'm going to take down the vibrance so it's not lit so much, and also a little bit of the saturation. Let's see if we can't blend that tree in a little more. You know, the trunk still looks kind of funky, but, you know, maybe I did something like that. Notice things I'm looking at is I want to break the line of this horizon line. I don't want to put the tree down here. I want to put the tree up in such a way that it creates more depth by covering up that line there. All right, hold on, let's see. I think the last thing I want to do there is do a nocturnal seascape. So I'm going to copy that image. You know, I'm going to visit. I'm going to take that link and put it over into my note. But in this case, let's see, I'm going to find that layer. I am going to do a straight selection. I'm going to do an edit, paste special, paste into. Whoops. Except I didn't. Sorry, I didn't get that. Oh, let me go get that. Okay, there's my seascape. Let's see. I don't know. This is going to look pretty whack. But it'll give you an idea of things that you guys can do. And maybe I will, let me see, I can change my opacity. I can definitely, you know, I can do the filter, the camera raw. I can also desaturate a little bit. I can, with my levels command, I can, you know, I can change my hue. I'd probably, let me see if I can desaturate that just a little bit so it's not so annoying. All right, something like that. And you know, you can colorize too. Like if I select this tree and if I do Apple U, Control U, if I want that hue to change, maybe be something a little bit more, I don't know, maybe change the saturation, bring it down. I can change the levels with Command L, right? I can darken it up. So you can play with that, right? So you notice I'm working with big looming foreground objects. I've got a sky, I've got a mountain, and I've got a seascape. So no one landscape element is taking up the composition. I think the last thing I'm going to do is maybe try to throw another element in there. I'm going to copy this image. Again, I'm going to visit, grab the link and paste it in there. So when I post this, I can reference all these. Okay, I just pasted that person in, and now I get to resize it. Resize it. You'll notice, look at my layers there. You'll notice how simple everything is, because I want to be able to move these things around. Okay, I am going to subtract all of this. I'm going to subtract. I kind of wanted a human form looking off into the landscape using the gaze. And let's see, Command-Shift-I. Okay, I'm going to Apple D, I'm going to deselect. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Boom. Okay, so I have a silhouette of somebody that, hold on. I have a silhouette of somebody that is looking off. Now I can move these things around. I'm looking for rule of thirds. I'm looking for foreground, background. Maybe I need some midground elements in there. I can start playing with this, but you notice I'm not using any smart objects. I'm not using any layer masks. Any kind of manipulation I want to do, I'm doing it with Control U, Control L, and it's easy to move these things around, right? Now, remember, you can paste things into, I can paste into this black here, and I can get really surreal. And I'm also looking for possibilities for breaking that skyline. What's happening here, you'll notice, is that the tree and the figure are kind of the same, and it's equally balanced. So it's not that interesting of a composition yet. I've got a lot of stuff kind of hanging off here. Okay, I can flip this if I want. I can do Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, in case I want to flip it down. Okay, and if I wanted to paste something in there, like a texture or some text, I could. For example, I'm going to take this, copy that image, of course take the link, take it over there, archive it so I can reference that. I'm going to select this, I'm going to do an Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into, and there's my text. To change the opacity, it's just the number keys on your keyboard. If you wanted it to not be so apparent, you could do that. You can invert it, Apple I, Control I. Okay, so I'm starting to build my composition, and you'll notice that I'm playing around. I'm not so concerned with the technical aspects as I am with being able to move things around. Now, what happens if I want to... Now, in this case, just to stay flexible, I'm going to move this out. This is what I want. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to turn that off. But you see how I can click around and I can move everything around if I want to move it down, if I want to move it over. You might get, feedback on this, and you might say, you know what, the tree's not working. This is more focused. The person with the text inside, kind of evocative, and maybe they're moved over. So you have to kind of pick and be able to edit and throw a bunch of stuff in there and be willing to take it out. Now, to me, these mountains are still too much that other person's. I have some options. I don't know. I'm not even sure how this is going to look. Let me see something. I kind of want to get rid of this mountain, and maybe the sky will be behind it, which it's not. Hold on. I mean, what I want to do is carve away this mountain, but it's a little too difficult right now, just for this. So I'm going to put something in front of that mountain, hopefully. And you'll notice that I'm missing some medium objects, right? Like I've got a large foreground object, I've got this background, but what I was trying to do is cover up some of that mountain. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I had to create a new layer and put it in there. So let's say I wanted to cover up that mountain because it still screams to me that someone else did that, and it's not me. How big can I make this? You know how I said to really be adventurous, and you can always. I'm going to do this really quickly. You can always make it. Remember, you can't size up and then size back down. Okay. Here, now this is starting to take shape. Foreground element. I look back into the mountain. Here we've got this guy. I can play with this guy. I can duplicate him. If you hit the V on your keyboard and the Option key, it will duplicate an object. I would never. I don't think I would duplicate this, but just to show you what you can do in terms of, let's see, image, transform, edit, transform. Sorry. So, I could play with this and go, okay, large looming foreground. I'd make this window so I could see behind it. Another element on either side, kind of balancing it, and then going into down and back into this focal point. Could I have something else in the sky? I would stay away from moons and suns and things like that. I could definitely have another mountain range going up back there, or I could cut this mountain range down and have another landscape coming in. But anyway, I just wanted to send this out to you to show you how to dilute third-party images and make them into your own composition. And a final reminder, remember, in that post, in your written component, you want to talk about your process, and you want to be able to say, here's where I got my images.